This story is called Oh Christmas Tree. When I was growing up in the Midwest, our family in suburban Wisconsin would go and get a tree. We'd go and get a Christmas tree from the local lot, and it would be a blue spruce or a Scotch pine, and it smelled so good. Oh, that refreshing evergreen smell in our living room. My dad would set it up in front of the picture window, and the first thing that would go on were the lights. Well, he was pretty precise about things, so he had stored them carefully the year before, so it wasn't a whole lot of swearing and detangling. But we had the kind of lights, the solid color ones, that you had to screw in. So if one went bad, the whole strand was dead. So we did a lot of searching and screwing and unscrewing and trying it out. But fortunately, he also planned ahead. He had a lot of spares. So we always had this string of lights. And then we had the bubble lights, which were so exciting. It was like this. It was string lights, and when it was hot, it would bubble up and boil. And we had those too, which were always so magical. This was a nightlight my mom sent me about 5 years ago as a symbol of those lights. Then we would put the ornaments on. Well, every year my mom would take us kids to the dime store, and we each got to choose one unique ornament, or we would make one from school out of popsicle sticks or styrofoam and glitter. And she would carefully put on the bottom of each ornament our first initial and the year. So through the years we accumulated. By the time we left home for school or work, we had 18 ornaments. So it was really special. But the most special thing was the tinsel. But we didn't do the tinsel. The way it worked was we would do all that decorating, and we would put our few presents to each other under the tree, and on Christmas Eve we would go to bed, and during the night Santa would come, and he brought more gifts, and he put tinsel on the tree. So the next morning, the 4 of us kids would line up in order of age, so in the hallway where we couldn't yet see the tree in the living room, and first Michael was 7, and then I was next, I was 8. Then my next sister, Gail, was 12, and Cheryl was the eldest, and she was 13. So we would line up in age order, and then right behind Cheryl would be Mom, and then Grandpa. And Dad would be out by the tree. So the other way we knew that Santa had been there was during the night, a white curtain had appeared to block our view from the hallway to the tree. And there was a little cardboard face of a friendly Santa on it with a little gem, like a gleam in his eye, and that was hung up too. So it was a big dramatic, okay, move the curtain and charge. Dad would be on the other side by the tree waiting with his 8mm camera and that whole row of headlights that would, blind you. And so all of our growing up pictures, all the kids are kind of but he would say, okay, ready, and then tear back the curtain and charge, and we'd just, the tinsel and all the colored presents, and it was so exciting, it was so wonderful. Well, that year I was 8, 1966, I got a letter in the mail, a real letter with a postmarked stamp, and the return address said North Pole. Oh boy, I was excited. First of all, little kids didn't get mail that often right to them, just Miss Laurie Rhea, not to occupant or family or kids. Well, my parents wouldn't let me open it till one evening, and after Michael had gone to bed. So I read the letter, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I was 8.5 by then, so I was thinking, I was a little bit on the fence about this whole thing. Was there really still a Santa, or wasn't there? And I wanted to believe, but I wasn't quite sure. So I read the letter, and it said, Dear Laurie, to me, not just any kid. And he goes, well, I have a lot of little kids to visit every year, and it's a busy job, so I'd like to ask for your help to be one of Santa's real helpers this year and help your sisters and your parents decorate the tree. I'll be sure to deliver all of the trimmings and the fixings to you by Christmas Eve, so you can do all of that, and that included the tinsel. Oh, I knew for sure there was a Santa now because that was his job every year. Nobody else did the tinsel, only Santa. So he was asking us to do his job, and he said, don't tell Mike, we'll keep it our little secret. As I finished reading the letter and he signed it, your loving friend, Santa, I heard some jingling. And I thought, wait a minute, jingle bells. Those are in the basement. That must be Santa. I went charging down the basement stairs, bounding over, looking around, listening for the bells. Did I hear them again? Oh, where are they? Oh, there they are. I ran to my dad's workshop, and I stopped at the doorway. Where is he? Where is he? Not a soul was in sight, but there were the boxes. There was the ornaments, the candy canes, and the tinsel. How did I miss them? It was I just heard those bells. It was magic and a mystery. I wondered, but I knew for sure that had been Santa. I mean, I just finished reading the letter. Who else would it have been? And my parents were upstairs. That's what I didn't get. So I was so thrilled because, first of all, I was asked to help, and I was always the good girl, and my halo was shining, and I knew that Santa knew I'd been a good girl because he asked me to help, and I just wanted to do that. And it was a secret. Who can resist having a secret from one of your siblings? So don't tell Mike. Okay, don't tell Mike. Okay, goody. Okay, then the best part was he said, now that you're a big girl of 8, I was a big kid now. I wasn't the little kid anymore. Oh, I was thrilled. So Christmas Eve came. Michael got put to bed. Grampa was with him to make sure he stayed in bed and was sleeping. And then we got out all the goodies, and my parents set up a step stool for them, so they reached the higher limbs with the candy canes and the ball ornaments, all the shiny ball ones. And then I was assigned the tinsel, and I was thrilled. I thought, I got the most important job. Well, if you've ever dealt with the little strands, one at a time, and they're slippery, and it wasn't that easy, and I was so excited too, so I wasn't very patient. I was trying to pull them off and then hang them over the tree, just the way it looked so beautiful, like silvery rain when Santa would do it. But I couldn't get, it was like the stickly, prickly needles. It was like, how do you hang them over the tree and have them dangle just right? And I was getting kind of frustrated, and I thought, that's why my older sisters went for the ornaments so fast. They know that the tinsel is not the fun job. That's a tedious job. So anyway, I did my best. And again, my dad was very precise. So I started kind of trying to just toss them in clumps here and there. And he goes, no. One at a time, Laurie, one at a time. But despite all that, it was the best Christmas ever. It was so exciting. And Michael never did find out until my mom and dad had another kid. And then he graduated to get the letter. Okay? So he got the letter, and then I, like my older sisters, promptly went for the ornaments, and he got the tinsel tray to see what he could do with it for the next kids that came along. So years later, decades later, when I was going through my Christmas box, I came across all 18 little ornaments, the little numbers and the letters still on the bottom, and I came across that original letter. Oh, wow. I called up my parents. I was so grateful. I said, I thanked them for all of the fun and the magic that they have provided us kids through all those years, and their cleverness in getting, free labor for kids who are ramped up on adrenaline at Christmas. Sure, we'll help. But I said, I never did figure out who rang those bells. They said, we don't know. So I'm grateful for all the gifts my parents gave us all through the years and their wonder and wisdom.